Hey YouTube, Ben here. Let's talk about rocks. All right, rocks are more than just decoration. Okay, let's hear about it. I'm going to give you my 2 cents, and let's get some input from one of my favorite fish rock stars to talk about rocks. Let's hear what Eaven Alexander has to say on the subject. So let's start with him. Evan, talk to us about rocks. Share some of your rock wisdom, my friend.
What's up, YouTube? Thanks for the spot, Ben. Ben has asked me to speak to you guys about rocks, aquarium rocks. We're going to talk about artificial rocks, and we're also going to get into real, actual rocks. Artificial rocks which are made by Aquadecor, artificial rocks which are made by Universal Rocks. We're going to discuss the pros and cons of artificial and real rocks. Thanks again for the spot, Ben. Stay tuned.
All right, YouTube, let's get straight into it. What you see here are artificial rock and natural rock. The artificial rock is from Aquadecor. Now, excuse me, some of the benefits of artificial rocks are that they are aquarium safe. You don't have to worry about any contaminants or any minerals that will raise or affect the pH of your aquarium. Now, here are some of the downsides with this particular rock. As you can see underneath, it's hollow. Although it does sink and stay firm in your aquarium, it does allow the possibility of food and or waste to go underneath. So with these rocks, you will have to lift them up and clean them with every aquarium maintenance. Not so much with actual rock. Now, with actual rock, as you can see here, this is called moss boulder. Okay, this rock does not affect your pH. However, there are other rocks that will affect your pH. Okay, guys, and just to name a few aquarium safe rocks: granite, quartz, slate, lava rock, sandstone, and a few others. But both of these look beautiful in your aquarium, and when these artificial rocks are actually in your tank, they look 100% real. Universal Rocks makes a product that looks fabulous. Aquadecor also makes a product that looks fabulous. But natural rock, as you can see here, the moss boulder, it's a beautiful stone as well. All right, guys, that's my time. And thanks again for the spot, Ben.
Thank you, Evan. Your wisdom is always appreciated, my friend. I'm going to start talking about rocks in a tank that you would consider without rocks. This is a 30-gallon grow out where I have some blue neons back there, and a couple little eye biters that like to hang around up here, and a wild card hybrid back there. But this is, you would consider this gravel, but really what you have here is small rocks. The advantage is, of course, that cichlids like to redecorate, so they get to move this around, not quite as much as they would in a sand bottom. The disadvantage is that because it is rocks, it allows a lot of detritus, a lot of waste, to settle in between the rocks. So when you vacuum and you go down, let's say, an inch or so, you will suck up a lot of detritus. That is also an advantage if you have plants, which would allow a lot of nutrients to get down there for the plants. But of course, this is not a planted tank. Also, of course, these rocks serve as a very good home for beneficial bacteria, which of course is located quite heavily in the substrate of the aquarium. Here in the 60-gallon, I have a combination of rocks. I have what I've identified in prior videos as what is called wonderstone. It's a very beautiful rock, very hard, solid rock, and that sits firmly on the bottom of the aquarium. This is shells and coral on the bottom. Also a great place for detritus to go in and settle, so it needs to be vacuumed very thoroughly. I also have lava rock. You'll notice this here is lava rock. I purchased it mistakenly originally under the impression that it created a buffering, but it doesn't. Lava does not buffer the water. That is a misconception. I would not recommend lava rock in a cichlid tank, and I'll tell you why. It has sharp edges, has points. Now certainly you can select choice pieces from time to time, but very often it has sharp edges, and I have gotten rid of the pieces of lava rock that I had in here before that had any kind of points on them. Those would be fine in, let's say, something like an angelfish, neon tank, maybe something like that. But for fish like cichlids that become both sizable and can startle and dart around or get into chases, I don't recommend lava rock, because lava rock can have sharp edges, and you end up with an eye that is scored, or you'll end up with some slashes on the side of the fish that can infect and give you other problems. Okay, so I suggest smooth rock, preferably rounded and smooth rocks, and certainly this Wonderstone is fine. Here in the 135, I have from Universal Rocks. These are synthetic rocks. These are man-made rocks, which once the algae has started to get on them, they start to look very, very real. And I like it because they match in texture Universal Rocks background, but not entirely. They're a little bit different. I asked for that intentionally. I didn't want it to match perfectly. I wanted a little bit of differentiation. These rocks, a rock this size, if it was a real rock, would be extremely heavy. But with these synthetic rocks, what happens is when you drop them into the tank, let's say one of them slips out of your hand, which is not that hard to do, I don't have to worry about my tank getting chipped or cracked because they're very light. Also, as Evan mentioned, they are hollow inside, so you do have to make sure the air is out of them, but Universal Rocks, in their wisdom, has put some weight into them. I believe they've either put some rock inside the rock. There's some way that they've weighted these things so they stay down much better and don't just float around or get pushed around by the fish as they move some of the sand substrate around and redecorating the tank, like cichlids are notorious for doing. I prefer these synthetic rocks when I use large rocks, mostly because I don't want to risk dropping one and having it crack or damage the tank. Makes maintenance very, very easy. I can move them around very easily, vacuum around and underneath without a problem. It is my opinion that you do need to move rocks, real or artificial. You do need to move them and vacuum under them, because somehow detritus will figure out a way to get under there and just sit there and fester. So every other week, I will move the rocks around as part of my maintenance. One final comment on rocks. There are rocks that do buffer, unlike the rocks I made the mistake with, the lava rocks. There are rocks like limestone and holy rock, which will help to release minerals in the water, help you maintain a nice, steady, high pH by neutralizing nitrates, nitric acid. So there are some rocks that can work for you. I have that job assigned to the aragonite substrate, which releases minerals into my water and helps maintain a nice high pH. All right. Also, rocks serve as a place that blocks line of sight, and by that what I mean is, and one of the reasons for these high rocks is that when there's a chase going on, as can often be the case in a cichlid tank, a fish can be out of sight by going behind one of those high rocks and be able to catch his breath. I see that occur quite often because cichlids, as we know, love to chase each other. There are some folks that think that rocks give fish a territory to claim, and because of that, they avoid putting rocks in the tank because they don't want fish claiming territories. There may be some truth in that. I've certainly seen changes in behavior when I've moved rocks around, especially with the otter point, who for a long time was patrolling and guarding this section of the tank because of this tall rock. So that's my 2 cents on rocks. I hope you found that informative and useful. Certainly leave your comments below. If you have any tips on rocks, any ideas, comments on rocks, leave them below. The community is certainly interacts quite a bit in the comments section under my videos. I love it. And certainly subscribe, share, sub, and be sure to visit Instagram with ben.o.cichlid and also Facebook, which is ben.o.cichlid. Alrighty, don't forget to hit that bell down there so you can get notices. Okay, you get little alerts when I post a video. All right, thank you so much. You're very appreciated, and I hope this helped. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.